What are some important things to consider when teaching Black history? Is the goal exposure or understanding? I found some interesting research that examines how Black history is taught in schools and what kind of understanding that instruction produces. This analysis comes from LaGarrett J. King's 2020 research published in the Journal of Social Education. The research begins by noting that Black history is often present in schools. The issue is not whether Black history is taught, but how it's taught. Black history instruction in schools is commonly treated as additive. When this approach is used, Black history appears as supplemental rather than a primary framework for understanding the subject. Black history is often confined to specific units, months, individuals, or events. This approach results in a shallow understanding, even when the intentions and effort are good. Traditional Black history coverage often follows a narrow storyline. Black history is framed through enslavement, emancipation, segregation, and the civil rights movement. Within this structure, Black people tend to appear in two roles, either as victims of oppression or as heroic figures overcoming oppression. This framing limits students' understanding because it treats Black history as a sequence of responses to oppression, rather than as a complex historical tradition with its own internal debates, writings, culture, art forms, traditions, celebrations, institutions, and forms of agency. Black history is rarely connected to a broader global context or a range of learning outcomes. Here's the shift. This research differentiates between teaching about Black history and using Black history to teach. Teaching about Black history means adding Black people events or moments into a historical story that has already been defined. Using Black history to teach means using Black history to shape learning outcomes. In this approach, Black history is not something students encounter after the primary lesson. Black history is a part of learning the subject. For example, Black history can be used to teach arts, literacy, mathematics, science, engineering, economics, and agriculture. Black history can be used to teach visual arts, music, architecture, leadership studies, civics, public speaking, media studies, and social emotional learning. In these areas, Black history gives students concrete context for learning skills and ideas that they are expected to learn anyway. With this framework, Black history is used from the beginning to shape what students are expected to learn, how they make sense of new information, and how understanding is built over time. Without a deeper framing, students may recognize names or events, but they are not asked to engage with meaning, application, or understanding. Teaching Black history effectively in this framework is not about adopting a specific set of strategies or lessons. It requires intentional decisions about how history is structured, what experiences are treated as explanatory, and what kinds of historical questions students are asked to answer. In this sense, Black history is treated as intellectually rigorous and foundational to understanding history more broadly. Black history deserves more than an existence in specific units, specific months, or specific individuals. Let's have a great time studying Black history. Thank you so much for listening. Y'all take care.